What's up, guys? What's up? What's up? It's been almost 6 months since we done a new video, definitely since the coming of the new year, but I have been itching to get back onto these podcasts to talk to you guys. We've been so busy. There's a lot going on behind the scenes at Godhood Comics. Our expansion is happening so fast. It's so exciting. The momentum has been incredible. All right. But we're going to jump right back into this video. We're going to talk about some of the things we have going on at Godhood at a later date. Hopefully I can share some of our experiences, what we've done so far. But today's video is pretty exciting because we're going to be addressing something that I get asked about all the time. So as you know, I'm always getting DMs. I'm always getting emails. I'm always getting just questions being bombarded toward me. And I try my best to get back to everyone, but sometimes I can't. And this is one of the things that I get asked often, almost once or twice a week by somebody different. And that is the use of AI art while creating comic books. And let me just tell you, I'll tell you right off the back, I am anti-AI art in general, but I'm extremely anti-AI art for creating comic books. And I have 5 reasons why you should not be using AI to create your comic books. All right. Now, full disclaimer here. I am not condescending anyone. I'm not judging anyone. We each have our own journey. We each have our own creative process. My goal personally, and certainly at Godhood Comics, is just to help new comic book creators and standing ones on how they can scale their creative endeavors, market their creative endeavors, and make money from their creative endeavors. So this is just my personal opinion as someone who has garnered a lot of sales, a huge following, and has just been successful in the comic book space. So just my opinion, it's just something that I wouldn't do. Something I feel professionally is a professional killer. Using AI art is a professional killer in the industry. And here are the top 5 reasons why you should not be using AI art to create your comic books. All right. And number 1, very simple. It just looks bad. Guys, comic booking is a visual medium, right? Your artwork, your comic books, we talk about high quality comic books and high quality artwork all the time at Godhood Comics, but all of this stuff should be visually aesthetic, visually pleasing. Otherwise, why are you doing a comic book? Why is this not a novel or a poem or any other form of literature? So the problem with AI art that we're seeing a lot of is it's just bad. It looks bad. It looks horrible. And creators are hiding behind the 8K and high definition imagery, which can be, cool to look at briefly. But then when you start to dissect these images, you realize the flaw of them all, right? We all know that there's a problem with how AI art does the hands. We all know it's a problem with cohesiveness, and it doesn't flow well. It doesn't mesh well together. Nothing is solid. Right? It's just fluid artwork that just looks bad. And to the untrained eye, which I don't think anybody is that untrained, but when it's AI art, it just looks bad. Do I think it will grow? I think it's growing now. It's going to, maybe one day it'll get to a point where you can create and one day soon rather, create a full-blown comic book off using AI. I think one of my next 4 reasons why you shouldn't be using it will kind of combat this one. But I do think there's going to be a day where people can use it for this, and it'll continue to improve. But the way it stands now, it just looks bad. And when I see someone posting AI art and trying to pass it off as a comic book or anything of that nature, my stomach just crawls. It just looks disgusting. And I know a lot of people feel the same way. But again, these are just my reasoning as a successful comic book creator. Guys, I've been retired for 4 years. I've learned a lot in this business. I've been doing this for almost a decade. I mean, I have grown a lot and I've seen a lot, and I just know what works. I've always been able to grasp marketing and things like that. This is just bad. AR is bad for business. You trust me. All right. So the second reason why you shouldn't be using AI art is there's no risk involved. There's absolutely no risk involved. The best creative projects throughout history came with risk. And by risk, I mean the creator or creators took on financial burden, mental burdens, emotional burdens, physical burdens to get these work done, to the point that failure was not an option. Failure wasn't an option for them. With filmmakers and comic book creators and other literary spaces and authors who put in the time and money and attention to really create and build a project, it means a lot to them knowing that they cannot fail. When you're using AI and you're prompting and you're writing a prompt in there and you're using whatever they give you and redefining it, hitting the recharge button so you can get different images. There's no effort involved. When Midjourney first came out, I tried it, not for comic book use. That was always off the table. But I tried it, and it was so easy. I didn't get a challenge from it. There was no risk involved. It was just boring almost. And so what this does for you as a comic creator, now listen, comic book creating is a very, very large industry, but also a very small one. And more so than your readers and customers is how you are conceived to other comic book creators. And this is a space, AI art has been widely condemned by the industry. There hasn't been a comic book created by AI that has outsold a regular comic book. I think we're years away from that, if that happens at all. So it's just not a good tool financially. There's absolutely no risk. If it doesn't work out, you lose nothing. So that's another reason why I think it's just a no. You could be putting that time and energy into managing a team and creating a real work of art, a comic book that's going to stand out in this huge competitive space. Okay, so number 3 of why you should not be using AI art is because it's just disrespectful. It's just disrespectful. Listen, comic book artists, just like we said for the last reason, comic book artists are the backbone of our industry. The backbone of our industry. And many thousands, 70% of comic book creators, professional comic book artists, have condemned AI art. They've posted on their social medias, they're posted on their blogs, they've posted in their email list. The impact AI art is going to have on their workload, on their livelihood, on them as artists. So I think to exist in this industry and completely disregard what our comic book artists are saying and how they feel for a quick mock-up of a very bad artwork, I think it says a lot about a creator. And this should be the only reason why you shouldn't be using AI art. You really shouldn't need 5 reasons. That alone, for me, when we work with some great, amazing artists. We have about 15 artists on rotation for all of our comic book series. We'll be taking on more as we've announced other series this year and next year. And to hear them talk about AI art and how much they fear it and how much they despise it and how much they are hurt by it was enough for me to completely just be like, This isn't a thing. This isn't a thing. This isn't a thing. So that's the third one, is it's just disrespectful. And I seriously advise anybody in here using AI art to think about all of the artists that you have worked with and that you will work with. They will take note. They will take note. They will take note. All right. Number 4 is kind of the same as number 2, but I'll talk about it a little bit more. Is number 4 is it's lazy. It's lazy. It takes no effort, no creative thought. Anyone, a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, or any elementary age kid who knows how to write can type in a prompt in Midjourney or any AI art platform and create a creative result, a work of art. Now, art is subjective. Anything that you're creating is artwork, no doubt about it. But because there's no risk and because it's so easy, there's nothing to factor in. There's nothing to strive for. There's nothing to push for when using this tool in such a way. I have yet to see a cohesive AI art comic book done right. Either the artwork's bad, the artwork doesn't look the same, the lettering is always god awful. It's just like the guy who created the prompts went in and signed on a computer and just started lettering on paint or something like that. So the entire AI art disregards the entire art form of comic book creating, which includes lettering. So other than the unoriginal use of AI art by turning all white characters into black characters, anything you've seen creatively just looks bad. It looks bad. And again, we hide behind the 8K high definition, the realism imagery that it projects that a lot of people gravitate to. But to a trained eye, to a trained artistic eye, certainly a trained comic book creator or a writer in general, it's bad. It looks bad. There's no risk. It's just lazy work. It's lazy work. It's lazy work. 5, listen, it's not sustainable. It is not sustainable. AI art is not sustainable, at least as it stands. I said earlier that I do think that it will grow into something that is going to be a very bad thing and a very good thing. But right now it's not sustainable. There is no hardcore comic fan that are going to spend their hard-earned money on AI art or AI comics. There's even been people in the groups who have been trying to charge to get AI artwork done, right? So you pay them to type in a prompt for you, right? They're not even doing the work. They're just typing in the prompt. So it's not a sustainable art source. It's just not sustainable. It doesn't take in the community. It's not viewed well in the community. And by using AI art, by posting it, by trying to put it in front of it, you're really leaving a bad taste in your fellow comic book creators' mouths and readers' mouths and super fans' mouths. You're leaving a bad taste, and that's going to affect your sales and how you move in the long run. At the end of the day, it's just not worth the risk. It's just not good enough or important enough for you to risk your reputation and your future in creating. Now, I do think that it's useful in certain aspects. I think it can be useful. So do not get me wrong. It can be useful. I think using AI art to quickly type in a prompt and come up with a concept that you then send to an artist that you're working with, just so they can kind of visualize what it is that you are thinking about, and then they can kind of use their creative flow, and together you guys come up with the end product. I think that's okay. My problem with doing that is posting it. The worst thing you can do when you're using AI art is post it to your creative pages, your publishing company page, your page where you're an artist and creator. The worst thing you can do is post this stuff. Because it's really a slap in the face to people like myself and my tons of my brethren in the comic book space and tons of our colleagues that are comic book artists who every day are putting in time, money, and effort, whose entire life and livelihood depends on creating comics. For you to be posting that kind of stuff, it's just a slap in the face. It's ultimate disrespect. All reasons come together. Now, again, to each their own. Like if you feel you're using it and you like it, use it. But I can promise you that by using it, it's not going to generate one sale. It's not going to generate the scaling that you need as a comicpreneur. And we talked about the difference between a comicpreneur and a comic book creator in another video, so make sure you check that out. But it's just not, again, worth the risk. There's no risk, and it's not worth the risk. And so you want to make sure if you are doing it, you've assessed the situation and you're doing it for the right reasons. There's no way you should just be doing it because to generate images. That being said, guys, we're going to close on that video. What do you think? Am I wrong? Am I right? Do you understand where we're coming from? Again, not here to bash anybody using AI art already. I wish you the utmost respect. I'm talking about my experience as a high quality comic book creator and how it looks in the industry and how it may or may not prevent you from scaling and growing as a creator. But let me know what you think in the comments. Share this video, like this video. I want to have this discussion. I'm super open to having this discussion, and maybe we can bring people on and do more videos on this. But as it stands now, my opinion on AI art, just so everybody knows, any of you who ask me these questions in our DMs or via email, I am so against AI art. We made a post on Godhood Comics how much we were against AI art, especially as it relates to comic book creating. I think there's other uses for it in the entertainment industry, and that'll be exploited as well. But just like NFTs and other virtual things, it's a trend. It's a huge trend that is catching the attention of people following that trend, not the attention of the comic book creators, artists, and comic book supporters that you need to scale your company, right? So you need to think about that. And I always say AI art should be your dirty little secret. It's definitely not something that should be promoted, at least right now where it stands. 100% of all of the comic books I've seen generated by AI art look horrible. Look like you are flipping through a Galleria magazine. There's no cohesiveness. The story's bad. The lettering's bad. The art is like you're looking at a bowl of soup where everything's mixed together, and it just looks horrible. And again, they hide behind this because it's high definition, because it's 8K, because it looks like it's real. That is the worst type of excuse when it comes to using AI art. So my advice as a successful comic creator is do not use AI art. If you need access to affordable artists, if you need access to affordable creators, if you want to know how to create a comic book for less than $2,500, listen, email me, DM me, and there's a whole industry of people who are out here creating, putting the work in, and who would love to help you do the same thing. But AI art is a no-go as it relates to scaling and growing your following. Do not use it.